Faculty of Social Sciences, Professor A.V. Afonso G., Registrar Goa University, Dr. M.M. Sangorkar, faculty members, staff, and my dear students. It's my great pleasure to be with you a little before Christmas, when everything is merry, and share with you the joy of celebrating the Silver Jubilee of the Goa University. I am very happy that one of the ways of celebrating which you have chosen is to have lectures, because ultimately university is the center of knowledge, and as long as these lectures spread the knowledge by different people speaking on different subjects and different issues, I think there can be no better way of celebrating your Silver Jubilee than organizing these lectures. I extend my heartiest greetings and good wishes and congratulate the university on achieving this important milestone. This university has fulfilled the dreams of millions residing in Goa, and particularly the aspirations of young men and women in pursuing higher education. During these 25 years, the university has added many feathers to its cap in several areas like academic, research and extension activity achievement, and in promotion of academic interaction and learning by signing MOUs with national and international organizations. Besides this, I am very happy to note that it has introduced several innovative programs to equip students with the pace of time. What I find more interesting and impressive also is that 75% of the postgraduate students are girls. I will comment on it a little later, but one who really works hard for gender justice to remove discrimination, degradation and marginalization of women, I think this is a very significant sign, because do not forget that education is the foundation of all development, and if 75% of the postgraduate students are girls, women, then you can imagine that to what great length the society is developing itself. In this way, Goa University has certainly set an example for other universities. It shows how girls are concerned to make the best of higher education available, to give wings to their dreams and lead a life of dignity and self-respect. This stage, I am reminded that all of you were affiliated to my university, that is the Mumbai University or Bombay University, before Goa became a university. You came there for matriculation examinations was there, and for the colleges also you came in a big way, till some colleges also started in Goa. So, in a way, we are a family. And it's just a matter of chance that I'm older in age, and though I don't feel any age difference when I meet such beautiful, shining young faces in front of me. The progress of the university has raised many promises to keep, and this Silver Jubilee celebration will go a long way in turning the dreams into reality and to move forward with a rejuvenated strength and vitality. Here I fully agree with the Honorable President, who was very recently here, Srimati Pratibha Patil, for your convocation, as I read in the newspapers. That was the 22nd convocation. Universities help a nation in giving economic vitality, scientific prowess, a broad outline of social change and global competitiveness through innovation and research. So, Goa University has a big task on its hand to help the nation in every respect. With dedicated and learned faculty members, the university will surely make its way brilliantly in its journey for excellence. In fact, let me tell you, I share one great hope, and that hope comes out of the promise I see on your faces, that it will soon become, Goa will soon become one of the best international universities. Because I must tell you, the way you are concentrating on expanding, the way you are concentrating on research, research is the main thing, that's what creates knowledge. Yeah, I think the Goa University has a great future, and if tourists come in large numbers, I have no doubt that even students will come in sufficiently large numbers from all over and join the Goa University. The changing role of the university in the present era of globalization has required it to be more than just handing out degrees. It has to take a holistic approach to make it part of a developing society. The community around universities has to be involved as an important stakeholder of the university system to make university true public property. Faculties must recognize that their core competence in universities is to advance knowledge through critical research, and I emphasized the research earlier also, on subjects that touch the life of the people and which will be good for the society. For academics to pursue their intellectual agenda in a meaningful manner, they must have the public on their side. Designing of new courses, keeping in mind the changing needs of the day, will go a long way in university playing a meaningful role in building up public opinion and imparting right kind of training to the students. It's very heartening to find Goa University has introduced several courses on socially relevant subjects like the one on human rights and women empowerment. It shows the university's well-designed, meaningful and long-term vision to be truly regarded as a public property. Now let me tell you, when I'm speaking about women's empowerment, yesterday I went to Dona Paula, and let me recollect and recount one of the experiences which I had. On the first day of the 21st century, I with my whole family, my children, grandchildren, we were in Goa celebrating the New Year's Eve and the New Year. We danced till 3 o'clock in the morning. Then everybody retired, about 3, 4, everybody retired. I also retired to my room. We were living on a private beach somewhere here. And then suddenly, you cannot imagine, I said, no, I will not sleep now. Everybody said, please don't wake us up till 12 o'clock. I said, so everybody had gone to sleep till midday. And suddenly I said, no. I said, tomorrow is the new year of the 21st century, not only of the year, but of the 21st century, and I must see the sun rise. It was very near Dona Paula. So early morning at 7 o'clock or little before that, I walked to Dona Paula and sat there looking for the sun to rise. Will you believe it was 7:30? The sun was not rising. 7:45, the sun was not rising. And suddenly I felt very sleepy. I closed my eyes for a while. And you know what I dreamt? I dreamt that the new century, the sons are not going to rise, the daughters are going to rise. So this is an experience which I have shared. I wanted to share with you. Now, let me tell you that coming to, I will divide, it's a talk more from the heart than any subject as such, because the subjects are so vast that it is very, very difficult to deal with it in a short time. But I will give you a glimpse of it, a glimpse which you will never forget. I must tell you that today you realize we live in a world of human rights. And one speciality of world of human rights is that it is a borderless world. Not only is it a borderless world, but the main principle or the main foundation of the world of human rights is, as stated in the Charter as well as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted on 10 December 1948 in Paris, says that all human beings are born free and equal, and they are governed by reason and conscience. Please remember these words, reason and conscience. When you talk about reason, when you talk about rationality, when you talk about conscience, you talk about brain power, brain power, brain power. You don't talk about physical prowess at all. And I must tell you, the world of human rights has arrived, and along with it, see the progress which has been made. Today, you don't need to use any physical prowess for anything. You drive a car, you fly in an aeroplane, but coming nearer home, there are three things which take you anywhere in the world without even moving out of your chair or your house. They are: one, the computer. You can send an email, and before you have completed, the friend to whom you have sent it has read it. You can watch the TV and switch 100 channels. And I must not mention the mobile telephone. With the mobile telephone, you can speak to anyone, anywhere in the world at any time. Now, therefore, we don't need physical prowess. So please remember this, make a note of it, that the world of human rights has changed, totally changed. The earlier stature where man was considered superior to woman because of his physical prowess. The physical prowess has become totally redundant, and it's the mental power, buddhimatta, the brain power, whichever. And I must tell you how nature has corrected the imbalance in this regard. Nature has corrected, maybe that in terms of physical prowess, the nature favored men more than women. But when it comes to brain power, men and women are equal. But as is proved, and what I told earlier, you look at the secondary board examination results, the 7 out of 10 toppers are girls. I personally feel that the balance is corrected by providing that women are a little higher than men in brain power. So this is, no, I'm not, but may I tell you, please, this is my appeal to you from my heart. And that appeal is that today we live in a world where there is a fraternity of equal dignity, and where all human beings are born free and equal. So please don't forget that equality. That equality and equal dignity must stand above all other things, and don't consider yourself as superior. I must tell you that ultimately you must consider yourself as a human being. And I will tell you, if somebody asks me, what is my caste? I tell them that my caste is outcast. If they ask me what is my religion, I tell them my religion is humanity. And I will give you a theory which is worthwhile listening. And that theory is that the identity, everybody is born with an identity. Identity of the parents, identity of the family, identity of the place where you are born, Goa, Mumbai, whatever you may say. And then you go to the identity of your school, you go to the identity of your college or university, you go to the identity of your profession or occupation. It goes on. You go to the identity of your extracurricular activities. And let me tell you one thing you must remember, that you exist with all these identities, but all these identities are concentric and not intersecting, are concentric and not intersecting. The result of which is that they never conflict with each other. Your identity of where you are born with the identity of where you are working can be conveniently be amalgamated, and there is no question of any conflict. So these are not intersecting circles, but they are concentric circles. Please remember that. And when we talk of this, I want you, Goa has been one of the places of pride so far as that spirit of equality goes. Because I can tell you, when you come to human rights and particularly women's rights, I may mention it now before I forget, that the main thing about Goa is that it has the most balanced, most human and most progressive laws so far as man and woman are concerned. In all other religions, women are not given full share, but only under the Portuguese law, you have the communion of property, where a wife and husband, the two companions, life companions, share equally and mutually in each other's property. This is something very, very great. And when people talk of common civil code, I said, no, more than common civil code, please bring from Goa what is there in their civil law, because the Portuguese civil law, which is very, very important. Now, human rights, I might tell you, came out of conflict. But I must tell you, because of the two world wars between 1914 and 1918, 1939 and 1945. But if you ask me, because it came for peace, it came for peace. Now, if you ask me, who is the father of human rights? I would undoubtedly say only Mahatma Gandhi. Because when, you remember the day when he was thrown out of the train, he had a first-class ticket to travel. And when he was occupying a seat with a legitimate ticket, he was thrown out saying that, well, we will not allow slaves and dogs to travel in first class. And he took it as a challenge and spread the message of Satyagraha. He started a non-violent struggle against what was then known as the Black Act, which was a very, very brutal act against the immigrants in South Africa. Then he succeeded. Please remember, when the United Nations was formed, there were only 51 nations who have signed the charter. Today, the number has gone over to 190. You can imagine now how we have progressed very, very fast. And therefore, please remember that in this world of human rights, Gandhiji tried very hard to see that there was equality, that there was no slavery, that there was no untouchability. Incidentally, I may tell you, we have a family temple in Mumbai named Thakurji Muralidhar Mandir. My name comes from that. And it was opened in 1934. It was opened in 1934 to all the Dalits, and the whole ceremony was led by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, the father of our constitution. So, please remember, we have been brought up in this atmosphere. We went and had dinner and lunches where next to, on both sides of us, as children, there would be the Dalit sitting. I don't recognize that at all. Therefore, and we would be eating together from the same food. So this is how equality has to be spread. as a matter of interest, I would like to tell you how Gandhiji spread the movement of for among the women. In fact, you can't believe, originally he was also had the same mentality, being born and brought up, that women were inferior. But he learnt his lessons fast for the emancipation. And in fact, he has candidly admitted in his autobiography that initially he was conservative and applied restrictions even on the movement of his wife, the great Kasturba. He learned his lessons fast for the emancipation of women, and soon he championed for their cause throughout his life. When there was gross violation of dignity and rights of women, Gandhiji stood for the cause of women. During this period, when Gandhiji was propounding the philosophy of truth and non-violence, there were prevalence of several superstitions and traditions which in no way can be attributed as healthy, and so particularly for women, and were derogatory to human rights of individuals. So Mahatma Gandhi vehemently opposed all discrimination against women as he opposed it against the Dalits. He opposed, he inspired the women to work positively for gender justice with their men folk. Mahatma Gandhi vehemently opposed violence against women. He said, of all the evils, I quote, of all the evils for which man has made himself responsible, none is so degrading, so shocking, or so brutal as his abuse of the better half of the humanity, to me, the female sex, not the weaker sex. Please remember that female sex is not the weaker sex. It is as strong as anything, particularly in the world where the brain power is the controlling factor. It is the nobler of the two, for it is even today the embodiment of sacrifice, silent suffering, humanity, faith and knowledge. Please remember, ultimately, it's the women who give birth to babies. And if compassion has to flow, it flows more from women than from men. This is so far as the gender justice is concerned. I must also say that just by way of information for you, you see, the human rights consist of civil, political, economic, social, cultural, including education. And at one time, America, USA, and the Western world, they were in favor of civil and political human rights. Whereas Russia and China and other countries, they aspired for the economic, cultural, social, economic and cultural rights. You know, at that time, it was Jawaharlal Nehru, India's Prime Minister, who said, no, you cannot separate the two rights. These rights are integrated. These rights are interdependent. These rights are inviolable. These rights are inalienable. These rights, therefore, are, what did he say? These rights are therefore universal. And that's why you said Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and he combined the two. I want to tell you that India has taken a lead in establishing a real world of human rights, and this is the history. Please remember that do not even think of violating the human rights, and that you will do only if you keep only one thing in mind, not to degrade anyone and maintain the human dignity of everyone. if you show that kind of courtesy, compassion, you will always be on the right side of human rights, and the human rights will thrive. As I said, in the world of human rights, when we live in a knowledge society. Knowledge is power. Do you know which is the main thing which sustains power, or which is the main thing which acts as a fuel for power of knowledge? Can you guess it? Can you guess it? It's information. It's only when you have information, the knowledge becomes power. If you don't have the information, knowledge will not become power. And therefore it is said that a man is but what he knows. Please remember that. And I will tell you, everybody has a right to information. The greatest of the freedoms is the freedom of speech and expression. And you cannot have freedom of speech and expression unless you have the information. And therefore, information is not only the fuel but also the basis of freedom of speech and expression. Now, it has been held in Bennett Coleman's case in 1973 in Supreme Court that it is a fundamental freedom and it cannot be breached at all. Now, there was an increasing clamor for getting right because everything was considered as privilege, quite secret, and nothing was disclosed. And I will tell you that we have how the movement spread. I am not starting from very intelligent people, very erudite people, very learned people asking for information. I am going to give you the instances how the poorest of the poor, working in the farthest of the villages and famine-stricken villages of Rajasthan, started the movement. In a minute I will give it to you. You know, please remember that ultimately poor people have made a significant contribution to democracy, and their contribution is no less for Right to Information Act. Now this is what happened. Aruna Roy, you must have heard the name. Have you heard the name of Aruna Roy? She is a great social activist, and she delivered one of the Justice Sunanda Bhandare Memorial Lecture. Justice Sunanda Bhandare was my wife. Unfortunately, had she not passed away early, she would have been the first woman Chief Justice of India. And she delivered one of the memorial lecture, 13th memorial lecture. And she pointed out this thing. Some rural women of Rajasthan who worked 8 hours a day and received only 95 paise went on a hunger strike. Can you imagine? The right to information starts from there. From the villages, poor villages, women earning 95 paise per day when they should get much more. Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangatana, which is her Aruna Roy's organization, under the noted leadership of the noted social activist Aruna Roy, wrote to the Ministry of Rural Employment saying that the government promised minimum wage, but here a worker got only 95 paise. Just tell us where the rest of the money has gone. Thus began a long battle to see records which culminated in the Right to Information Act. It gave a citizen the right to examine all the records. This is what it is. Now she gave in her speech, she gave 2 instances. When Sushila was asked what, Sushila is again a small lady, small woman, what she would do with information, her reply was very straight. Why do you need the information? It's like asking a lady sitting in the cottage, why do you need the information? She said I will first read in Hindi and translate it in English. जब मैं अपने बच्चे को 10 रुपया देकर दुकान भेजती हूँ, उससे मैं हिसाब लेती हूँ. मैं पूछती हूँ कि क्या क्या खर्चा किया. यह सरकार मेरे नाम से करोड़ों रुपए खर्च करती है. मैंने हिसाब नहीं लूंगी क्या? मैं हिसाब नहीं लूंगी क्या? When I send my daughter with 10 rupees, I take the full account from her as to how she has spent that money. And when the government is spending crores of rupees in my name, why should I not ask them, please give me the accounts? And that's how the Right of Information Act came. And I must tell you that one more thing I will tell you. A woman named Golkuma stayed with Aruna Roy and other activists for 53 days. She stayed there because she believed in it. A 70-year-old Dalit woman, Rukamma, something like that, also sat with them on hunger strike. These were the women who fought for democracy, poorest of the poor, in the farthest of the regions. We owe this Right to Information Act. In a democracy, all of us are accountable to people. And let me tell you the last quotation I will give, and then I will try to summarize. Lal Singh, one of our friends, he said, हम सोचते हैं कि अगर सोचना अधिकार नहीं मिला, सूचना अधिकार, that means right to information, अधिकार नहीं मिला, तो हम रहेंगे या नहीं. अगर मिल गया तो आपकी कुर्सी रहेगी या नहीं. अगर मिल गया तो यह देश रहेगा या नहीं. If the right to information was not granted, he was not sure if people would survive. And if it was granted, powerful people might not be able to retain their position. I include the politicians in them. He wondered if our country would survive once it was granted. So, please remember that right to information stands for accountability. It stands for probability, probity, and it stands for transparency. These are the three things. Now it's a very short act which is there. It is covered by several sections, but chapter 2 is the main provision of that act. And you will find that in that provision has been made to get any information. Of course, it must be public information. You can't have any private information under the Right to Information Act. It must be public information, whatever you want, how much money is spent, how much money did you get, where did you spend it, how did you buy this, how did you not buy it. Go on saying, where did you go for your holiday if it's a public. If it's some minister going, you can still ask, where did you go on a holiday, where did you get your money for that. So this is how it goes on. And main important thing is that provision has been made to provide you with that information within a period of 30 days. Within a period of 30 days. Sometimes a small fee is laid, but you write and you will get back. Even if you can't write, there are officers everywhere, placed in every office, to help you to see that your request for information, your query for information, your demand for information is posted immediately without any delay. Without any delay. So once again, I mean, this is, you all know, but please, I will request you that if you have to improve your knowledge, if you have to expand your knowledge, you must have also an expansion of our information. Of course, these days you as students will go to a computer and get all that information for a minute. But I am sure that if you find that anybody is suffering, and the suffering can be removed by getting the right information from the appropriate authority, public authority, you must persuade, you must induce, you must tell your friend that please don't take it lying low, don't forget about it, go and ask for information. Once you ask for information, you will find not only the information is redressed, but steps are immediately taken to redress the wrong which is disclosed in that information. So that is the way our Right to Information Act goes. So as I said, information is a part of knowledge. Knowledge is the foundation of education, and you are spreading, you are making that foundation stronger and stronger. All that I say is, at the end, it is 12:45, all that I say is that I wish you all the best of luck, and you will have a development not only in academics as very, very bright students, but you will also participate in other curricular activities so that you develop an all-round personality. It's not important. Let me tell you one anecdote that I have done, that here are professors, faculty members, here are the students. And I may tell you, just as students learn from their teachers, the teachers also learn from their students. And I will give you one example. I had two eminent professors, two of the most eminent professors in the history of the legal profession in India. One was Professor Nani Palkhiwala and the other one was Dr. Y.V. Chandrachud. When we started doing a little better in life, when they had met, they said, our students are doing very well, Chandrachud said. They have learnt a lot from us. And Professor Palkhiwala promptly replied, yes, they have learnt a lot from us, but they have also taught us. And prompt came the reply from Professor Chandrachud, who was the Chief Justice. He immediately said, yes, they have taught us a lot. So this spirit of learning and teaching, teaching and learning, because please remember, learning never stops, never stops, never stops. It's an eternal thing. And even at the age of 81, I don't find keeping things aside and forgetting things. I forget them otherwise also, but I make an effort to see that I keep on learning every day. I wish you all success, all health, all happiness and all glory in your career.